Hello everyone, welcome to Tech Talk. Today we are going to have our classroom 9 of Python tutorial, and in our today's lecture we are going to learn about some advanced features of Python functions. So without wasting any of your time, I'm going to start now. You people keep watching. So in our earlier classrooms I have told you about this function. One is length. How can we use it? We use it to determine the length of the strings. So here as an argument I am going to give one string, and see here it is returning as 3. And one more function you already know, I have told you this before as well, that is instance, and it will say that the instance is a string or not, like this. Or it will say that the instance, the object that we are passing here is an instance of the class that is in the second argument, that is after comma. So if I do this, it will say true. So here you can see that len function is taking one argument, and isInstance function is taking multiple arguments, that is 2 arguments. So we can also check it by doing help, like this, help len. And here you will see that len and obj object return the number of items in a container. So here only one argument is passed for len function, and for isInstance function, if we do help, here you can see that isInstance, one is object, that is our ABC, and another is class or tuples, and it will return true or false if an object is an instance of the class, of this class. So these functions, len and isInstance, these functions are designed by the Python developers team. So they have designed it like this way, that len will take only one argument, and isInstance will take more than one, that is 2 arguments. So like this we can also define our functions, our own function that we will build, and they can take multiple arguments. So how can we build it? Very easy. Suppose we are going to measure a rectangle's area. So def area. So for length and for breadth we will have 2 arguments. One is L, another one is B. And for this we will do return L cross B. So here you can see we are just separating 2 arguments here with this comma. So like this we can pass multiple arguments here with separating them by using comma. And if we save it, and then if we call this function print area 4, 5, like this, we are here passing 2 arguments inside the area function, because we have given here 2 arguments L and B. So we have to pass 2 arguments here. And now if I execute this program, you will see 20 is the output. And now if I show you that if I don't give 2 arguments and then run, it will show you that area function is missing one required positional argument B, right? Because here 2 argument needs here, L and B, and we have we have erased 1 argument. So here it is showing that one required argument is missing over here. So like this you can give multiple arguments. We can create multiple functions with multiple arguments. So now we are going to learn about the types of the arguments in Python. So in Python we have basically 2 types of argument. One is keyword parameters, one is non-keyword parameter. Parameter means argument only. So here when we are doing this 4, 5, and we are just executing the program. We're getting output 20. Here this parameters, or that means the arguments, are non-keyword parameters because there are no keywords attached to these parameters. And if we do like this, L equals to 4 and B equals to 5, these are called the keyword parameters because these L and B keywords are attached to these parameters. So now if we run it, we'll get the same output. And one more concept of the arguments are here, that is positional and non-positional arguments. What is this? Positional argument means basically they are non-keyword parameters only, because as you see that when we are passing 4 and 5 here, there are no keywords are attached to these arguments. But how Python is understanding this 4 is supposed to be the value of L and this 5 is the value of B. So this is the way of communicating these values to the function definition on the basis of the position of your arguments in your function definition. That means L is in the first position and 4 is in the first position where you are calling the function. So that means 4 goes for L and B is the second one, and here when you are calling 5 is the second one, so 5 goes for B. So this whole thing will be determined on the basis of the position of the argument. So that's why this is called positional argument. And non-positional argument means you are attaching some keywords here, like if you are giving L comma B here, and if you are giving B's value first, like this, B equals to 4 and L equals to 5. So here actually if you see the keywords you have mentioned, that is B is equals to 4, L equals to 5, even if L is the first one and B is the second one, here position doesn't actually matters, because here we are giving the keywords attaching to the arguments or parameters. So that's why just remember this thing, that keyword parameter equals to, these are the equivalent to non-positional, and non-keyword equivalent to positional. Now there is one more concept of default parameters, that some parameters can have default values, like we can have B equals to 6 over here or 7, whatever, over here, and if we pass L equals to 4 here and then we run it, we will see the output is 28. So in this case we actually we can use non-keyword parameters like this. We can erase L from here, and if we run it, you will see that 4 is actually going to L because B is the default parameter, its value is already mentioned over here. And for one more thing that is very important to remember over here, that this default parameter cannot be present in the function definition before the non-default parameter. Like this, you cannot define it like this, L equals to 5 comma B. This default parameter cannot be present before the non-default parameters. If you do so, you will get this output. Non-default argument in this line, def area L equals to 5 comma B, non-default argument follows the default argument. So it is you can say that this is the structure of Python programming, that you cannot use default parameter before the non-default parameters. So this thing you need to be remember when you are working with default parameters. And yes, there is a provision of changing the default parameters value. Like this, you are going to give the default parameters here 7, and if you want to change the value of the default parameter, you can mention it like this, B equals to 9, and you can run it. 36, you can do it as well. And at last, even you can do this with the non-keyword parameter as well, like this. If you are just mentioning 4,9 instead of the non-keyword parameter and run it, you will see that you are getting the correct output. So these are the various types and concepts of Python arguments. Okay, so one more concept we are going to learn now, that is arbitrary number of arguments in Python function. That means, when you are we were using length function here, we were giving one argument only, right? That is ABC. So now if we give more than one, what will happen? Just check it. So here the error is len function takes exactly one argument and 2 is given, right? But one more function that we already know, that is print function. Here 1, 2, 3, quotation A, 5, whatever number of arguments you can pass, and it will print it as it is. So here print function is taking arbitrary number of arguments because the number of arguments is not fixed here. We can give any number of arguments with print function. So like this, we can also create our own function that will take the arbitrary number of arguments. So for that we will create mean function. So if you remember, in our earlier classroom we have also created one mean function, but if you remember, there also we have given only one argument, that is we were passing a list inside the mean function, so that was only one argument only. So here, to pass it as arbitrary number of arguments, we will write it like this, asterisk args. So this is the argument name args, and asterisk to mention it like this, because so that it can take any number of arguments. So you can give any name in your argument, but args is the it is a good practice for Python programmers. Everybody uses like this, so try to maintain this practice because it will helpful to have a good readability in your program. So if you do this def mean star args, and if you return sum of args, not asterisk args, because your argument name is args, not asterisk args, divided by len of args. Now if we save it, and now if we call it print mean, and here we can give 1, 2, 3, 4, and save it and run it, we will get the mean of 2.5. Here you can give any number of arguments. If you want to give only 2 numbers, we can do this like this also. See? So like this way we can create our own function that will take arbitrary number of arguments. Okay, so one more important concept here, that is whenever you are using multiple number, that is arbitrary number of arguments in our function, so we should not use keyword arguments in our function, because it will throw an error. What error? If I do 1, x equals to 2, that is a keyword argument, and if we want to return args only, so you will see when you run it that mean function got an unexpected keyword argument x. So it doesn't work like this. It will not take any keyword arguments with star args. So if you want to work with keyword arguments inside your function that will take arbitrary number of arguments, you have to do it like this, double asterisk key w args, and then here you have to pass it return key w args, that is our variable name. And now if I do y equals to 1, x equals to 2, and now if I run it, you will see that this will print as a dictionary, that is a key value pair, y is 1 and x is 2. So, and if I remove these keywords if you see this, if I remove this and then run it, I'm going to have one more exception, that is positional argument follows keyword argument. That is, this is a keyword argument, and after that this positional argument that should not be present over here. And if I remove both the keywords and then again run it, you will see that mean function takes 0 positional arguments. That means the positional arguments means those are non-keyword arguments. So the mean function is taking 0 positional arguments, but 2 are given. So we have given 2 positional arguments. So that's why this error is, we are getting this error. So remember, when you have to work with keyword arguments and with arbitrary number of arguments inside your function, you have to mention the keywords like this. Otherwise, you have to mention the arguments with double asterisk and kw args, and otherwise you can use single asterisk args and with positional arguments. This thing you have to remember. So guys, I hope you have learned some more interesting concepts of Python functions and Python arguments. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe our channel. We have lots more coming for you. So till then, bye bye, stay safe, take care and keep learning.